last million. Yesterday, as I have told you that what is 1 million? 1 million is 10 raised to power 6. 1 million is 10 raised to power 6. Now, with this reference, we will look for the different types of protons in our compound. Now, our compound is nothing but the acetaldehyde. We have two different peaks. Two different peaks means we have two different types of hydrogens in two different chemical environments. Depending on that chemical environment, we will be having two different peaks on this spectra. For example, I am just drawing the two peaks over here. One over here, and the other one I am drawing over here. Right? So now you need to tell me which peak would be like for the methyl proton. If I am labeling the methyl protons as proton A and the proton as proton B. So among these, which would be proton A? Yes, the methyl proton. So the methyl proton would be here, and the aldehydic proton would be here, right? So now you need to tell me why there is a big gap between the two different protons. Big gap, I mean to say that this resonates in between 2 and 3, and this resonates in between 9 and 10. So there is a big gap of chemical shift. So the reason is because this proton B is directly attached to the electron withdrawing group. So what it does, basically it takes the all electron density towards itself. When the electron withdrawing group takes all the density towards itself, this proton is basically naked. And it feels the external magnetic field to a greater extent. As compared to the protons of methyl. Which are not directly connected to the carbonyl group, which are directly connected to the carbon. Right? So basically, the reason is why they have the two different shapes of a big gap between the two. So it is only because of this. This proton is directly attached to the electron withdrawing group, which draws all the electron density from the proton and let this proton as naked proton. So that naked proton feels the external magnetic field to a greater extent, so that it resonates at a higher frequency than the proton which is attached to the methyl group. Right? So now the second point is we will go for the multiplicity of the peaks. So you know that the multiplicity of the peaks was given by the n+1 rule. Could you please tell me the proton B which is over here at almost 9.5 ppm. What do you think? What would be its multiplicity? Would it be singlet? Would it be doublet? Or would it be triplet or quartet? According to n+1 rule. So n+1 rule means this hydrogen is attached to this carbon, right?
Yes, sir.
Now this carbon is attached to the another neighboring carbon which is having three different protons.
Yes, sir.
Three different protons, I mean to say three protons. So n+1 would be given by like this. N is the neighboring protons, so 3 plus 1. So you will get 4. So 4 corresponds to quartet. 4 corresponds to quartet. I am writing here as quartet. So the splitting of this B would be quartet. So what would be the intensity of this quartet? 1, 3, 3 and 1. So this is the multiplicity of the peak, which is basically a proton B. So now we have one more proton, which is CH3. What would be its multiplicity? So these protons have basically the neighboring proton only one. According to n+1, it would be 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 means 2. 2 means nothing but the doublet. Let's see, we will draw the doublet over here. So the most important thing is the doublet will be the intensity of what?
1:1.
So the intensity over here would be 1 to 1. The intensity over here would be 1, 3, 3 and 1. 1, 3, 3 and 1. So by these things when you get the NMR of a sample like this, you just conclude like approximation. This could be acetaldehyde. This could be acetaldehyde. But to confirm it thoroughly, right? To make it a thorough characterization, we need so many different analytical techniques like HRMS. We have HRMS. HRMS is nothing but the high resolution mass spectrometry, which gives us nothing but the molecular mass of a compound. Molecular mass of a compound. Then if you get the molecular mass of your compound and your NMR of a compound, you are almost done with the characterization of your compound. Then there are small other techniques like IR, there is UV, so that by these techniques basically you characterize different types of unknown organic or inorganic compounds.